In this video, we're going to continue working on the Caliban lower legs that I'm re-sculpting to like a flared style boot, like you've seen a lot of like 90s characters. On this one, I've actually started to got complete this step so far. I'm going to be working with styrene, glue, a little baking soda, an Instaset, hobby knife, some snips, sandpaper, and my marker again, and of course the Dremel. With this process, I'm actually going to take since these boot flares are actually coming off the leg, instead of using epoxy itself, this project I'm going to be using the Aves Fix-It Sculpt. But I like to use styrene to build a skeletal structure to sculpt over top of. As you can see, like I said, I already did this one. The hardest thing to do is actually get a mirrored version of this one onto the other one. With this, I actually was able to use the marker and paint around a little bit at a time while the marker's still wet. Line it up, and I was rolling it around the mirrored part to get the angles just right. Whereas this part where it comes off the flare, I'm still going to have to eyeball this part. Okay, let's move some parts to the side. Let's go ahead and get going. Like I said, it's good to have instant set when you're doing this kind of stuff, where you can get an instant bond with your styrene against the part instead of having to sit there and hold it until it actually sets. First things first, I want to use this square 0.04 by 0.04 square strips and do the edge work and build the structure for the beginning structure of the boots. I'm going to start here and go up through here and start gluing this way. And one thing that helps too, you take your fingernail, if you want to have this curve, scrape it with your fingernail and it starts curving the styrene. We're going to go ahead to get the instant set ready. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the styrene. Since we know where we're going to put this, we'll spray the leg with the Instaset. As soon as this touches it now, it will bond immediately. And we just want to follow our outline trace. With this one, where I've already done it, I have the guideline to go by, so it makes the job a little bit easier. There's still some little finicky little bit of work. So lining everything up, the goal is to wrap all the way around, do the arch, come back around, and meet up to this point here. Okay, and we're using this one as a reference to go by. A little more glue. Go ahead to spruce it with some Instaset. Now this is only the trickier part on this one, is to match the arch that I did here. Mirroring parts is always the most difficult part. And that's going to be good there. We just need to have a little bit of glue. All right. We'll follow the line around. Take her hobby knife, and always be careful if you That'll be nice. I've stuck this through many a finger by accident over the years. Not many a finger, a couple of them. If you're not watching what you can do, and you can easily, these things are scalpel sharp, so you can definitely want to be careful with those. I need to take a little bit more off. Okay, got her through the length, add her glue. The next step, we want to make sure our arch is right. That looks pretty good. Bring down the camera a little closer and see the next step a little better. Okay, we got the arch pretty well. Now the next thing we're going to do is switch over to this flat stuff, styrene. Which for this one, just for this project, you can use any, you don't have to use this exact styrene, but this is the size I'm using for this project. And we're going to start, make sure I got the flare about the same distance away. The same way I want to curve this, a little bit of curve, drag it with your fingernail. It gives me a little bit of an arch off the boot. Make the flare on the boots. I'm gonna put some glue on this part. A little dab. Instant set. That looks pretty good. Use your knife, or if you have a pair of snips, these come in handy for this kind of work. And we'll put a little drop of glue. This does not have to be precise to be the exact shape that you want, because we're going to be doing some reshaping with the Dremel tool. And of course, we're going to sculpt over top of this as well. One thing you want to do when you start to cut your styrene, you can take your snips and try to match the arch. That looks good. Add a little bit of glue. A little bit of glue here. It's good to have a little tool like this handy where you don't get yourself covered in glue. And a little bit more. One more piece and go to the other side. Right, we do repeat the same process to curve back around this side. I'm getting low on this to sit, so I'm going to have to order me some. Okay, we have a rough shape of the flared on the boot. You can see there. What I'm going to do right now is fill some of the gaps in. This is a trick I learned watching some Hot Wheels restorations. This is just standard baking soda. I'm going to use super glue and baking soda, made a makeshift filler on some of these small gaps. Add some more structure to the styrene. Add some generous application of glue to the styrene we just put on. And I want to just sprinkle the baking soda over top of the glue. It's a nice, becomes a nice filler agent for the glue, and plus you don't have any Instaset, it helps bond the glue quicker too. Go ahead and spritz this with a little bit of Instaset. Now we have a nice strong skeletal structure to start putting epoxy over top of. That'll be the next video, but right now we're going to shape this, clean this up. For that we're going to use the Dremel tool with my coarse barrel bit and some 220 sandpaper. First with the Dremel. This is basically like what we did last time with like just shaping it by eye just to smooth it down. Well, we have a good structure to sculpt to. Let's just kind of compare right quick. I think that's a pretty good mirror of the previous one. A little down this side, a little down a little bit. Well, that looks better. So add a little bit of glue. Let's hit it with the Instaset. That's it. Let's get back to dremeling. Yeah, I believe that we got a pretty good rough shape. Smooth down enough where we can work on to the next phase. It'll be sculpting the actual smooth details of the boot. What you want to do too, after we've glued the parts, good clean blade, go through and pick out if you got any spillover glue on the side that you're not going to be sculpting. You don't want that to show through on your, just a simple clean pick. Pick out the glue. One of the nice things too about with bringing the flare up like this, and this is the outside of the boot. It's going to hide the pin on the outside. You'll still see it on the inside, but you'll be hidden on this side. The only thing about when you do a sculpt like this, you're not going to be able to test fit putting the pin in when you're putting putting it back together when your final fit. So if you try to take it off after you do this method, you're going to tear your boot up. All the work you just did, you're going to break this off if you try to take it off after you put the pin in. And that one looks pretty good. Glue there. You take the sharp edge of your knife, you can go through and basically break the glue. Again, hit it with a little bit of sandpaper, do a little bit of cleanup. Alright, I think these are ready for some epoxy. Appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Like, share, subscribe, and come back for part 3.